Hi, everybody. We're here at the studio. I'm just going to do a swirl around. There's going to be a delay. Okay. And perfect. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about conversations with heaven and how to quiet our mind and why that is so important. And one of the things I've learned from the angels is this one thing called the 99% rule. And I love this 99% rule. And if you listen to the radio, you've probably heard me talk about this, but it's 99% of the time we spend our day thinking in fear. 99% of our thoughts are fear based. Only 1% are that of love. Only 1% are going to go in that forward motion for us. So this is why we'll get stopped in our life and not be able to like move past different events or even like money issues. We won't be able to move forward because of that 99% rule. So energy is really important when we talk about quieting the mind, because energy is perceived through different wavelengths. So vibrational energy, we have energy tones, which is the tones that people speak to you. And then you have that internal energy that you have conflict from your childhood, from past events, from being, what is that word I want to
trauma or
no, from conditioning, from people that you've gone to school with, either teachers or elders, and that inner voice that you close love off to. So if we look at our bodies, our being as a vessel of pure love, and inside this vessel we have all these rooms. And I love Teresa of Avila, St. Teresa of Avila, because she spoke about, in her teaching, she talks about our body being an inner castle. And that inner castle has all these hallways and doors. And we think what a castle looks like, right? There's all these secret passages and big rooms. Well, that's what we're made up on inside. So what happens over time is we close off pathways for love to come in. These are also called our energy centers. So if we look into chakra balancing, it's the same type of medicine, right? So it's inner castle, it's our chakras. And once they're closed off, or once those pathways aren't receiving positive love energy, that's where kind of chaos begins. That's where our unstableness begins. That's where we stop shining our own beautiful self. So we're all born in that perfect, beautiful goddess alignment. Men, women, we're equally that way. But we come to life with these challenges that we're supposed to learn, these lessons, these complicated lives, not to keep us held back, but really to propel us forward, to keep us going in this crazy forward direction. What happens is we stop, because that 99% of the time, that fear-based thoughts, they come in. So they come from outside sources, they come from inner turmoil, they come from picking up energy, and then we try to make it our own. So whether it's a tone, whether it's a vibration, however that's getting in, we're trying to make sense of it. Sometimes that's why we get really complicated feelings. We're like, well, this doesn't really feel right, but I feel like really angry or really stressed. It's not really ours, right? It's kind of crazy.
Of like closed doors in my mind when you speak about the castle. Your body is a castle. The doors that it closed. Or maybe that are cracked open, but we won't go through. That's kind of the analogy I was getting.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little hard time hearing what you're saying.
That was the analogy I was getting.
Oh, right.
Like my body or and whatnot. Like the doors are closed.
Yeah. So and they can
be cracked open, and I won't go through.
So that's why we'll have those aha clear moments of like, oh, this feels really good. Love's here, and I feel really good. And then immediately we get that tone, and we're like, oh nope, back in the crapper again.
Right.
So we talk about Shmigo, who I talk about in the book a lot. Shmigo is ego, and really, it's ego with fear. We all need healthy ego. We need that balance of having love and stability, right? So you can't be all woo, woo, woo. We have to be grounding. We have to have common sense. We have to have, an equality here. But when it takes over, and I like that, that's the left side of the body from what the angels show me. This is the way we get really clogged and off balance, out of alignment with our beautiful, unique self. And then it gets confusing, right? That's where that lower vibration will come in. Those tones, those voices, you're not good enough, or you can't do that, or so some of it's conditioning, and that conditioning, those tones, what we've learned, are going to come from other people's fears. But really, where does fear come from? Fear comes from the source of evil, and evil wants to control us. It wants to keep us in that negative, backwards motion. I like to say, here's the back door, right? And that's where we're living. It's cold, it's drafty. It's like a country western song gone bad, right? You lose everything. But love lives here, right here in the front, in the present. And that's the beauty of the now. That's the beauty of, oh, today I feel great by the moment of the choice, by the moment of, I'm going to be in love in this moment. We have a conscious decision to make. But we don't always.
Is very influencing as well.
Right.
You know, with even the conditioning as a child. That's
right.
What I was thinking.
So we can hold on to those things, right? Those inner blocked areas. Mm-hmm. We hold on to them because we think, I can't talk about it. I'm shamed by it. I'm denying it. A lot of people deny, right? Sure. They'll deny it because they don't want to look at it. Or they'll think they've healed it, so they don't need to go any further. And then they spend their life, complicated and going from one relationship to another, in and out divorce, whatever. Always looking, always searching for love. That's what we all want, right? So when we go in this pattern of slowing ourselves down, and this is why it's so important to go in order with the principles, one time fully through, and then use them again where you need them. But once you learn how to quiet your mind, it's a game changer. It changes how you move forward. It changes your patterns, and you catch yourself. You're like, crap, I'm doing it again. You find it, you get tired or you get lazy, and then you find that tone coming in like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to write that next book. Whatever that voice is, it's going to hold you back. It's about recognizing it. It's not about denying it. I had a client this past week who said she's had a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff going on with her dad, just tons of stuff. And so she's like, what am I supposed to do? Just forget? And it's not about forgetting. It's about forgiving. It's about the willingness to say, this doesn't define me. Rather, this happened to me. This doesn't define me. And so we change the voice. We turn it over to a love voice instead of an anger voice, instead of a victim voice. But nobody's taking away your pain. Nobody takes away the pain of, look at the parents from Sandy Hook. And I remember watching the news right after Sandy Hook happened, and this beautiful family came on, and they're very, very lovely. They lost their child, and they said, we're going to forgive. We're going to forgive him because we know that our family will never move forward. We know our children that survived will never be able to have a normal life unless we forgive. And I thought, wow, they just lost their child, and they're able to do that. They're able to stand in that and to profess it and to believe it. How amazing is that? How beautiful is that? So they can move forward, and they can teach their children then to move forward. Because if we live with a constant hate or betrayal or anger, we're get stuck. And we've all been stuck, right? You've been stuck before. You've been stuck, Kathy. I've been stuck. We're human. We're going to get stuck. But sometimes
it affects you. It only hurts you.
Yeah, sometimes you get cemented in, and it's like you feel like you can't move. You feel like you can't breathe, right? I can't get out of this pattern. There's not enough money. There's not enough love. There's not enough work. There's not enough. It's like everything is negative. So when we start seeing ourselves here with God in the present moment, we see love, and that's where the miracles happen. That's when you start to see, oh, I'm okay. Love says, I'm going to be fine. Work is here. I'm blessing it. I'm welcoming it. But our thoughts, the constant chatter, it pushes the work away. If we're in worry and fear all the time, it pushes what we want, what we most want, away from us. And those people that you admire, those people that you see and you're like, oh, they have everything. Guess what? The angels say they're there to show you that you're exactly that person. You're just not recognizing yourself. They're mirroring to you your own loveliness. They're mirroring to you that you have something as special, if not more, that you just haven't recognized it in you yet. That quiets that inner turmoil, that chaotic tone, right? It's crazy.
It's like being happy for the person that has, you know, like you were explaining, you know, has a lot, and it's showing you that that's what you can have. Bless that, you know, be happy for them. I think that helps me. It's been helping me to just, I would love to have that, but, you know, I'm happy for them that they have it.
Well, we can be really grateful, but then we can still find that jealousy or that envy too. We can always feel like, well, maybe it's outside of me. Like, that's them. I'm not going to ever do that. I won't, you know, I won't go to Japan or whatever our dreams are. But really, you're seeing it because it's part of you. That's why you have like those feelings, like almost like a deja vu. Like you long for those things, but you're like, not going to happen. So guess what? That thought, you just pushed it further away from you. But if you believe, you know, if you believe and you have faith, faith is what the angels say that keeps us afloat. Because faith has this buoyancy, has this weight, has this love to it that holds us up, that keeps us in our most desperate times up. So that's hope. It floats. That's beautiful, right? Yeah. So in that desperate time, when the mind is going crazy and we want to move forward and we want to change maybe a pattern, or we want things to be different, there's something to be said about a surrender. There's something to be said about throwing yourself on the ground, letting your shit fly down, hit the ground, cry, and just let it out and say, I'm letting go. And when you actually let go of whatever it is that's causing that turmoil within you, that's causing that pain, that's causing the chattering and the round and round stories and the chaos, when you let it out and you vomit it on the ground, whatever you have to do, and you give it over, you're free. You're free. And then you stand up and you're like, cherish that moment. Relish that moment of that freedom. Be still in it. Love it. That's when you hug yourself. That's when you just say, I'm okay. I am the light. And you remind yourself that you are the light. There's nobody outside of you that can fix you or heal you. Only you can do that. Right? So tonight's all about that quieting in the mind, quieting our tones, and hearing from the angels, hearing from heaven about what's going on in our lives and how that can be helped. So if you have a question, something that you're working on that you'd like some guidance with, let's ask your questions, and the angels will come through and we'll give you some answers or guidance, not necessarily answers. Yes, ma'am.
Pardon me. How do I get you on the YouTube right now?
I'm on the YouTube.
You know, but I don't know how to do it.
You just have to go to
Jamie's page.
Yeah, I'm
you know what Kathy's saying, she can't hear me very well. I'm going to grab a microphone. So you go to YouTube and go to Jean Street.
Yeah. Hold on, we'll see you in a second. Please hold. Jean Street will be right back after these messages. All right, so I'm confused.
Did you figure it out?
No, I'll live now. Here we go. Hold on.
Speaker is not working. Now I'll go to. Let me know if you can hear me now, Kathy. Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Hi, Aga. You can hear me? You're on there? Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, you went to her YouTube. Okay, you went to YouTube itself. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Duh.
Let me know if you can hear me now, Kathy. Perfect. Thank you for doing that.
Okay.
So I was just saying to our group, we're going to be talking about the quieting the mind. We're talking about that chatter. We're talking about the things that are in our life that are stopping, those stopping blocks around that. And if you have a question pertaining to that, you can go ahead and put it in the chat and I'll answer your question. And I'm going to bring it to the room first. Perfect. So does anybody have a question that they want to ask, that they're working on, something that's going on in their life?
I do, but I don't want to be questioned. Do you have something? Yes, go ahead.
Well, I don't know exactly what, but I've been trying to meditate and trying to go within and connect, but my mind it's going.
Right.
Just nonsense or what I had to do.
It is nonsense, right?
It's nonsense. And I just don't know how to shut it off.
Right. So if you didn't hear, she was saying like she's trying to meditate, but her mind is going and she can't. It's nonsense that's going on, right? It's like, oh, what am I going to make for dinner? When am I going to get to the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
So my favorite thing to do is the cycle breath. And when you bring your breath in through your nose, you inhale through your nose, and you hold it in your body, and then you slowly exhale it out your mouth. And you do it to a count of 5 or to a count of 10. You want to slowly get it up. So if you can get to the 10, that's great. This will stop any chatter from coming in. Like, it's hard to think when you're actually counting and breathing. That'll give you like a rest, right? And so then you don't entertain those thoughts. You don't like follow them. Instead, you kind of let them dissipate. You kind of just be like, okay, well, I'm back to the breathing. So anytime you lose focus, you go right back to that count. It's like counting sheep when you go to sleep. It's the same kind of theory, the angels say, like just, it lets you be still. Also, a candle, watching the light in the candle is really a beautiful thing with your breath, because that will help you stay focused and to see the light, which is so beautiful because it's a reflection of your light. So watching a candlelight reminds you of your own. It's mirrored back into you.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I love, I'm a busy mom. I have 4 kids, I have grandkids and a business and, a website platform. Kate knows I'm like a running crazy lady all the time. So when I need to settle down, it's usually to some music. I love me a good chant. Really, seriously, like so beautiful. And when I redid this place, I don't know if you were here when it was before it was finished. It was a hot mess. It was a hot mess up here. The walls were painted different colors. It was dirty. It was
great.
It was
Floor.
Here was hardwood floor.
Right.
Not that they were bad. It's just I wanted it to be more soft.
Right.
But everything was just gross.
Yeah.
So, and plus the energy was completely off. So I chanted. I had all this music that had chants in the background. So I prayed and I had this chanting music. Of course, I'm not allowed to sing because KJ won't let me. But
Let's get her to sing.
but there was all this love that was poured into every aspect of painting, of cleaning, and people feel it when they walk into the studio. They like, oh, it just feels so good. It's because it was built off of love. And even though this building we're in is 1700s, it feels new. It has that kind of cool vibe.
And the doors and the different rooms. It's so cool.
But
We were just talking about that the other day, about how, your space, you make it your own.
Yeah.
you do.
You walk in and you claim that space.
You do claim your space.
I'm sure that every house in the world has something in it. I believe that completely.
Energy left unattended, and this is true for your body and for your mind. Energy left unattended is going to mess you up. It's going to rock your world. So if you're not paying attention to your thoughts, if you're not paying attention to your surroundings, that energy is going to mess with you, right? So when we hold on to belonging, when we become like hoarders of energy, outside, external, in our house, well, that bogs us down. We become disorganized. We become chaotic. Same thing with our minds. When we become disorganized with our thoughts and we're just thinking all this crap all the time, we can't focus. We can't get anything done. So we clean the energy. We balance ourselves. So try that breath. You're going to love it.
Okay.
Right? Try some lovely chant music, just nice and still, or a guided meditation, which will have you not have to think. Okay. Yoga Nidra is beautiful.
Yoga Nidra can bring you on a journey to the tip of your toes, to, you know, your right eyebrow, and you just don't think about anything. It's crazy good. It's like yummy good. You want to do it? We can do it. We can do it right now. KG's laughing at me back there.
I'm ready for the balls, Jeannie.
What?
I said I'm ready for the balls, Jeannie. What happened?
Okay. So what we're going to do is I want you to plant your feet. Feet on the ground, or if you're not sitting like me, on the ground, which is good. Planting our feet on the ground is like claiming our space. There is a lower root chakra in the soles of our feet, or Christ point, as I call it. This is our connection point to who we are in this life, our place here. We can own this. So we're going to open that with our breath. So we're going to close our eyes first. So I want you to take a nice deep breath in, and you can use the count of 5 to bring it in, and the count of 5 to slowly exhale it out your mouth. So we're going to do this Yoga Nidra in a form of opening our chakras, okay? So I want you to bring your attention to your right soul. Bring your attention and bring your breath just to the right bottom soul. Bring your attention to your right ankle. Now to your right knee. Bring your attention to your right thigh. And now to your right hip. Bring your attention to your left foot. Now bring it to the sole of your left foot. Bring your attention to your left ankle. To your left knee. To your left thigh. And now to your left hip. Bring your attention to the base of your spine. This is your root chakra. Bring your attention to just behind your belly button, to your sacral chakra. Bring your attention up a little further below your rib cage to your solar plexus chakra. Bring your attention up a little bit further to your heart center. Bring your attention to the base of your neck and to your throat chakra. Bring your attention to the center of your forehead. It's your third eye chakra. Bring your awareness to the crown of your head. Now I want you to bring your awareness to just above your body, as if you're floating. Bring your awareness to the lovely feeling of heaven, to how you imagine it looking. And as you breathe, you allow yourself to float up effortlessly And as you are standing there, I just want you to be still, and I want you to feel the love surrounding you and embracing you. And as you breathe in, this beautiful music begins to play. And slowly now, bring your breath and fill your lungs as deep as you can. And I want you to fill your chest with that beautiful oxygen. And I want you to hold it in there as long as you can. And then I want you to do a big exhale. One more time, really big, deep. Breathe it in, fill up your lungs. Hold it, and release. Now feel your body. Feel your feet and your toes and your hands. Wiggle your hips and your shoulders and your neck. It's crazy good, right? Yeah.
That's the water bowl. Is that what it's called?
You have to talk louder for me.
I'm sorry. Is it the water bowl? What is that called?
It's called a singing bowl.
Singing.
Yes, and so this particular one is made with rose quartz and with platinum.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so there's a metal and it has really amazing healing properties to it.
Oh, yeah. I have
Feel it.
I have my lavender. Yeah. You're right.
It like
The
gives you,
love.
right? And so when you were able to close off and go to those different parts, isn't it kind of like, wow. You can do that just going to sleep at night and just bringing your attention to one part of your body at a time, and you'll just sleep like amazingly. But I loved bringing you up. They were like, no, bring them up to heaven. I love that feeling because everybody was just like, you just went. Everybody, you all went. Yeah, which is so nice not to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so this, music does amazing things. It heals us on a level that we can't recognize. It's an energetic healing. So it opens an energy center and it releases a stress. That's why I had you hold your breath and exhale. We're not always aware of what needs to come out, but it's beautiful. It's just so lovely. Have you ever gone to a church and you hear church music and you're like, oh, that's so great. It's the same thing, right? Or in any kind of music that you just fall in love with and it moves you. Right? Art can move you. Things can move us like that. A speaker, somebody has a really beautiful voice and can lead us, and you're like, you leave and you're transformed. You're like, wow, how did that happen? Because they reached a part of you. You reached just that little part of you that needed awakening. Right?
Yeah, I had music on all day today. I could have music on all day and not even pay attention to TV.
Mm.
And it gets me in a good mood. My dog will dance with me too.
Mm.
She'll get in the groove.
Right?
She does. She'll.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aga said that was amazing. She loved that. I can't believe you're watching you're in, I think she's in Scotland, right? KJ? I think you're in Scotland, right? Yeah, I believe she's in Scotland.
Scotland's in the house, all right.
I believe she is. So questions, does anybody have anything in particular that they would like to work on, that they would like, a little bit of angelic help with?
In living situation.
Or you were saying the quieting the mind, so.
You can go to her.
No, you were still, I want to keep you still on track, to be honest with you.
Thank you for watching. It's nearly midnight there.
Wow.
Yeah, I give you,
Oh,
thank
I should
you.
Be able to go to sleep with that beautiful meditation.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, keep going.
I'm trying to become awakened.
Mhm.
And I just I don't know if what I'm doing is enough. I don't know what I'm doing or where I need to go.
Yeah, so you don't have to become, you just have to be. Right.
Okay.
Right. Sometimes we think we have to do something specific. And I did this when I first started to study and learn about my gift and just like how I was going to use it. And I thought I had to do all these things. And finally those nudges were like, just be. And I was like, oh, all right.
That's easy.
All right.
Kind of.
Stop it.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you see in somebody else is really what they're showing you have. So be present in you and just experience it. Some things are going to be hard, just learning to quieten your mind, learning to let things go, all those principles in the book, they're not, they seem simple, but they're really hard, especially the forgiveness one, right? How to let ourselves off the hook. We probably could forgive somebody else so much easier than we can forgive ourselves because we hold ourselves hostage.
Yeah.
Or you would give the best advice and then we don't take
Yeah.
our own advice is a problem of mine
Yeah.
that I have.
All right, Jen, you're up.
My moving and living situation, it's still,
Right.
and I am crazy.
Still your
mom.
struggle.
It's still my
It's
struggle.
still your struggle.
But I'm really working very, very, very hard on, you said something earlier, but not like if I, in my mind, that was stupid, or I'm, this or that. Not even calling myself a name if I make a mistake.
I'm so glad that you're doing that.
Thank you. And it's not easy because it's a self-esteem thing.
Right.
And that person that I'm with is exactly, I feel, bringing me down, and trying to keep me down. And I'm fighting to still, but I've been setting boundaries and really putting up things and kind of being like, exactly, shut up. It's either this way or that way.
Right.
But with the universe and everything going on, I'm still.
So we teach people how to treat us, right? So even negative relationships, even good relationships, we allow, this is why our family sometimes can be so horrible to us because we've had this bad behavior going for a long time. It just doesn't happen overnight, right? So we give them permission to talk like that, especially when we have no self-respect. So if we don't love us, then he can't love you, right? And what you've allowed yourself to speak to you, he's speaking to you outwardly.
Absolutely.
So we change the voice. And this is the path of the empath. I'm telling you right now, this is not something that you're alone in because most highly sensitive people or empaths are total abusers of their own self. They
self-destructive.
Yes, exactly. Not even realizing. So they can be high functioning and be, doing so great and helping other people. But what they're doing behind the scenes is they're talking smack to themselves. They're treating themselves not good. They're not eating right. They're not getting enough sleep. They're not exercising. And they're just, denying their own self-love, pushing it away. So by softening the tone, by saying, I'm beautiful, I'm good enough, I'm deserving. And so when he speaks to you, you change your reactions. You no longer fight with him. Correct. You say, it's really not a nice way to speak to me. And I would like to have a different type of conversation. So you start to, go around it in a different way, oh, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Changing our reactions.
Really honestly letting him know that is him, just as you were saying, I'm allowing be treated a certain way because, exactly, I am allowing it. In the meantime, I also have been saying that that's your issue and things that you need to deal with. I'm not going to take I'm not going to take it on. You're not going to steal my happiness today.
Right. And because we want to be fixers, we want to help everybody, right? Raise your hand if you overstepped your boundaries, you gave away too much, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a sign from within that we're neglecting ourselves, right? We're not paying attention. We're saying yes to everything, or we think we can fix somebody and give them the world rather than, hey, this is okay for me. I'm going to just enjoy this little bit for myself and not feel guilty, not feel bad because of it. Right? Yeah. So that's about filling ourselves up. So that's all part of that quieting the mind. It begins there.
So even when I'm at the gym, maybe doing those breathing exercises that you were just teaching, would that be something that would be good? Because you're
right. Because then you stop yourself from thinking negative, right? So if you use that breath, if you use the cycle breath before you speak to anybody, it'll give you time to actually be in your body and to feel the right response rather than just vocalize from fear. Right.
Or screaming and not getting anywhere.
Yeah, but it happens, right? Because we're reactive. Right. We're reactive to energy. And somebody's talking, or pushing our buttons, we're going to absolutely be reactive. But once we learn to breathe and be still, and of course, they're going to be like, hey, what's wrong with you? And they're going to push a little harder. They're going to try to get you. And you're going to be like, you know what? It's not working for me right now. I need a timeout. I'm going to go take a bath.
What I say is tap out. I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
Right. I'm tapping out and I'm doing it for X amount of time. And then...
Can I shut that light behind you, the crystal light, because it really is.
It's really annoying you?
It's not showing
I love it though. It's so pretty.
It's gorgeous, but you will see it.
You can shut it off. I can't. You just have to push the button. I can't get it.
That's antique. I would think, yeah.
And well, it'll catch up in a second. See, I'm leaning over.
Like it was better
Now everybody can see your beautiful book.
Okay, boss.
Where have you been now? Come on.
All right, Kate, we're on you.
Oh no.
I know.
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm about to turn 40, which is super exciting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kate, you don't look like you're turning 40. Just an FYI.
You don't look like you have 4 kids. Everyone
40 is so cute.
Like you have a 0 birthday. Those are the birthdays that I'm celebrating now. From now on, are my 0 birthdays. For real. After I turn 30, that was my 0 birthdays are the ones that matter.
So what about it?
I'm about to turn 40. It's just sort of, I think, I left my career in New York. I left New York. I moved back here. I know I'm cognizant and really, I know I'm in the right place.
Right.
I know I'm where I need to be, but I still struggle with.
So Kate, they show me you have all these deadlines you want to meet.
Yeah.
You understand this? So they're like,
Yes.
It's almost like you have like a bucket list in your mind of things that you're supposed to have done by this age.
Yeah.
And they're like throwing them out to the wind and they're like poo-pooing them. And they're like, there's no, you hold yourself accountable, like as if you have like failed. And so they're saying like, that's not true. There's no time, right? So in heaven, there's no time. That's the absent. There's no fear and there's no time. So everything that you're doing is beautiful, right? There's no race. So it feels like just if you let that go, I feel like you will breathe easier. I feel like you're so like stressed.
Yeah, totally. And I know.
And it's not even about they're saying it's not even about the age.
No.
It's just like, it's like you set yourself up to fail almost like too many high hopes, too many false hopes, so to speak. Like you're perfect. Right. What is the new acting for you? What is the new, there's a new scene. I don't understand what they're showing me.
No, I'm writing a memoir.
Oh, there it is.
So that's also like the struggle.
Yeah.
Out of my own way. Like that's a big fear.
This breath is going to help you. That cycle breathing is going to be like the charm and the weather, they're saying, because you're an outside gal. Yeah. So this will be like your time. And I think once you start, you're going to be done with the memoir, in the warm months. before the end of summer.
Because I've been in that struggle with it and
Right.
reinvent, like trying to reinvent, like maybe no, this isn't right. I have to do it this way. And
Yeah.
Too much of a perfection.
oh, I'm a self-editor and I don't let it flow. And,
Right.
And so I'm aware. I just don't. I'm like,
You're a deleter, they said.
Is it a sign that I shouldn't be doing it at all, or if I should just get out of my own way?
You need to get out of your way and just pour it all out,
Yeah.
and don't edit it as you're going, they're saying, because
Okay,
you're
perfect.
hypercritical. So they're saying, write it, leave it, don't edit anything out,
Okay.
and then hand it over to somebody else.
That's what I learned with my jewelry, if it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it helps with my jewelry, making it and then being a perfectionist and then redoing it and redoing it and redoing it. But then you don't exactly get it out there.
Right.
So, my imperfection that I see a little tiny, somebody else isn't gonna see it, so I've learned that, over making my pieces.
Right. And you're overthinking what you're writing. When you're talking about a memoir, you're including really bits and pieces of yourself, like big pieces, right? So
It's sort of taking the person who didn't meet all the expectations and wound up in a career that she didn't plan on,
right.
and the anxiety that she didn't, disorder that she didn't plan on having.
Right.
But finding humor in it, because
Yeah.
life is funny. I mean, it has humor.
Yeah.
Even in, I'm trying to find it.
The voice for you is really important as well. And I don't know if it's speaking or singing, but your voice is really important.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why you're not using the voice. Because you have like a powerhouse of a voice.
I used to be a singer, and
Oh,
I stopped
still are a
because
singer.
every time I would sing, I would cry. So
because your energy. So now that you understand about energy, and the more you study about energy and being in your body, you won't fly out with the voice. You'll stay in your body, and it won't be as emotional. I think that's what's happening to you. So it's breathing, staying in your feet, but you're supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to use your voice.
Yeah.
That's why everything else hasn't felt completely right, because you're not using your gift. Your gift changes people's lives. It's just like when you see a beautiful piece of art, or when you hear somebody else, you're the same. You have that effect. It's like her jewelry has that effect. It's meant to be seen, right? We're not supposed to hide everything. And not everybody's supposed to be, big, famous, Oprah. We're just supposed to be us and sharing, even if it's volunteering, even if it's just in our family, but we're supposed to share that light. So it's seen.
Sharing your gift,
Mm-hmm.
correct, sharing your gift.
Yep.
I've actually been stuck on the same thing, that I'm trying to work on, is sharing my gift, because I couldn't exactly be stuck. And that's what the universe is trying to show me, and that's my block,
Right.
so.
Definitely. We all have blocks. We're human. We're not supposed to be open, free. We're not Mother Teresa. But we can emulate her if we want. We can share, and we can be compassionate. We can take parts of that and mold them into our lives, so we can be that love where we want to be. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Right. So that 99% thing, that 99% rule of living in fear, that can really rock our world. So now that you have that little formula, you can go about your day and you can say, all right, 1% love, how am I going to beef you up today?
Mhm.
How am I going to supersize you? How am I going to make you the mega drink today? And that starts before you get out of bed. It starts with, maybe it's a gratitude or a prayer. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this body. Thank you for this voice. Thank you for this gift of jewelry making. Thank you for me. And you get out of bed and then you feed yourself some love. Maybe it's a beautiful cup of green tea. And maybe you sit outside with the birds. And maybe you get up at 5 to write. Whatever it is that you're doing, you do it with love. So you've just changed that 1% where you've normally been living. You've just upped it to like a 5%. Dang, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So now you move out to your day and you start your day and you leave the house and you're driving by, you see some kids waiting for the bus and you're like, hey kids, have a wonderful day. May the angels protect you. Look, you just went up again. Instead of being annoyed, instead of being frustrated, instead of, I got to go run these errands. And nope, I'm running these errands. I'm great to be alive. And then you've upped it again. So every time in any moment that you are choosing a love, you're changing that 99% rule. You're changing it. And you're telling Shmigo, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you to mess my life up. I don't have time for you to ruin things, to wreck things, to keep me in that negative. I don't have time for you anymore because only love lives here. She's smiling back there because I was such a bitch before. She's looking at me. When she got here, I was going all crazy. I was. I totally, but I called myself out. I said, listen, walk away from me because I am a bitch right now. I don't even know why, but yeah. It happens, right? So, moment by moment. The other cool thing I love tools because they help us to do this. They help us to stay forward. So in the book, I have the love list and the ego fear list. So writing a list of your normal thoughts down throughout the day. You know, some people say to be really productive, to write down everything you do in a day. So even if you go to the bathroom, even if you're having a snack, you write it down so you can see where you're wasting time. Most of our time is scroll. Got to find out what's going on Facebook. I got to scroll on Instagram. We're scrolling and we're just scrolling. So if we're aware, we can see where we're wasting time. Well, the same thing is with our thoughts. If we write down and keep track of them for a whole day, we can see, holy crap, look at how many fear thoughts it is over love thoughts. Look at how much time I've wasted in the negative, in the backward story, where I could have been here in the present. So I love, that's a great tool. And the other great tool is to have an image of love. So I have my tattoo. This is my cross. My cross is love. That's my love symbol. So I invite you to pick out your own love symbol. And then anytime you're stressed, you imagine that right here, right in front of your face, and you just envision it. You breathe it in and you hold it, and it's sacred to you. Nobody needs to know. It's just yours. And you bring it into your heart, you hold it, and it brings you back into the present. And then you remember love. It's easy. Some people like to do this with a prayer. Mary, you're on here. You'll know what I'm talking about. I'm always doing my Hail Marys. My Hail Marys get me right back in. And they remind me of divine love. They remind me of the Holy Mother and what she had to experience as the mother of Jesus. I can't even imagine, right? What she had to witness. It just reminds me that we're all holy, you know, the sacredness of being who we are, whatever we're birthing, whether we've had children or we're making jewelry or we're writing or we're creating, whatever we're doing, we're birthing something, and that needs to be sacred. And spending that time to make it sacred with prayer is so important.
May I point something out? I love the part in the journal where you were talking about the brick wall, your brick walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started writing, and I was like, I have so many, and I just
Can you read that little
Absolutely.
passage?
Day one. Excuse me, I'm getting glasses. Day one, brick one. Time to tear down the wall. The mortar you used to build the wall will crumble away, and when you can adjust your view, seeing Shmigo as the mortar.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say that word. Tell me all that you can about this brick wall. Use this journal space for reflections and insights you learned during your clearing ceremony. But what it was is I turned to this is let go. Man, I think that's important too. Do you want me to read that part
Nope.
as well?
I'm good. No,
Yeah.
I just wanted
Okay.
to hear that part. So we talk about that inner castle, right? We talk about the bricks. The bricks represent the things that the mind chatter will go to. So the brick is your childhood, you know, something that pained you, something that's the brick, right? It's there. You can't deny it. It happened. It's a memory. And the mortar is what fear holds it together, sticks it. It's the glue. It's the lies that go along with that. So how does that look for you, right? So did you have a difficult childhood? You know, was there trauma? Were you abused? And so does fear want you to stay there? So you're shaming yourself, or you're shaming the other person and blaming them. Are you holding on to it? it's so bad and you're talking about like, what is your mortar? And how do we get that away? How do we invite love in to say, no, it's okay. And this brick doesn't have to be that heavy. It doesn't have to be stuck to anything. It's just something that happened. It's not me. So it's helping me to propel forward, right? Because if we stay hidden behind all those bricks, nobody's going to see our light. None of the relationships we have. And we can try to be seen, and we can try to be heard, and we could try to find the best relationships and try to find money, and it's never going to come because that wall is thick and you built it yourself. So nobody can do it for you. No, not a therapist. You have to start breaking it down. You have to be willing to do the you work and say, okay. I know she's shaking her head. Kathy's like, I don't want to do the you work, but you got to do it, right? We have to be willing to look at it, to express it, to get it out of us, to be angry with God. You think he doesn't know? He knows if you're mad. You might as well just, swear it up and have a good time and get it out of you, and then be like, all right, now I'm done, and just throw it away, get it out of you, surrender it. But we hold grudges. We're the only one that's going to be hurt. What are you going to say back there?
I realized that I can't make any plans because any of my plans that I make always go differently. So I just follow now God. I literally ask him, God, please direct me right or left, and I hope it's right. That's what I'm going to say. I hope it's the right way, but I mean, honestly, because anything I've been trying, and that's part of the brick wall. Those are like, plans, things, and also childhood traumas and things that come up. Yeah. So.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah.
All right. How's everybody feeling? Do we have any other questions? Surrounding.
How do I find my purpose?
How do you find
your purpose?
Your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Your purpose is always there within you. It's something you probably are ignoring, right? And it usually comes forward once we get rid of some of the junk that we're holding on to. Okay. So it's baggage, right? If we hold on to that baggage, how can it come forward, right? Mm-hmm. And you self-sabotage too. Mm-hmm. You kind of are your own worst enemy. You talk smack to yourself, and yeah. You don't really, I feel like you try so hard. Yeah. And I don't feel like you need to try as hard. What do you do now for work?
For work?
Yeah.
I work in insurance.
At where?
An insurance company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you in a relationship now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're married? You have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't understand why you don't feel like your purpose is what you're doing right now. Like why that isn't enough for you.
I don't know. Not feeling really like fulfilled.
Right.
And I don't know if it's like the relationship issue or
I think it's more of you feeling like, social media is scary. And I feel like I have to tell you this because everybody looks like they're having this grand life. Mm-hmm. And so then you're left to feel like, wow, they're traveling or they have this, but really it's a falsified view, right? Because everybody's got their stuff. Everybody has money and, they have their issues, whether they're showing it or not, which they're not. They're only showing the good times, right? Who wants to show the crap?
Right.
Who's going to be on there and be like, hey, I have a lot of debt. Hey, they repoed my car. Right. Look at the repo guy. Like nobody's going to be like that.
And then people also will start saying, I don't want to hear you, showing everything and being so negative. So I'd say days, weeks. I've shut it down. To be honest with you, Facebook.
It's very
it's like an enemy sometimes.
Demeaning. And it's our own demise. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you can walk away from that a little bit, because I feel like you'll feel better. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? You have a little bit of an addiction. Just saying, I'm loving you. I'm not judging you. And I just feel like spending more time with family is really important for you. Like, I don't think you see the quality of what you do as a mom. I just feel like you're only feeling the burdens of it all. Yeah. Like, I just feel like you're more exhausted than anything.
I'm so exhausted.
right? Instead of having fun and enjoying and how old are your kids?
She's 10.
She's 10. And do you have another one too? No. Okay. Have you thought about having another one? Yeah, because I see the two. So I'm just curious. Okay. Yeah, I see you having fun. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like you're having fun.
No, right now I'm like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because I have a full-time job, plus I have stuff that I do on the side,
Right.
which I'm trying to cut out of my life.
Right. And what is that?
I bake and I make like treats and stuff for
Okay.
parties, but it's consuming so much of my time that I feel guilty because I'm not spending enough time with my family
Right.
and not doing anything for me. So
Right.
I'm trying to put that to the side. I don't want it. And I'm doing that more because financially, like we need the money.
Right. But I feel like it's kind of fun for you too. But you say yes to everything.
I say yes to everything. I can't say no.
Yeah.
I need to say no.
Yeah, you do. Like you could back it down so you don't have to do, I call them gigs. You don't have to do as many gigs a week as that you're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
So if you kind of close that down, you can still do it because I feel like that's an expression for you, the baking, like because you're really good at it and you actually have a hand with decorating as well.
No, consolidating, no, thank you.
So that there's a gift to that, right? It's a
Yeah.
talent, but you're just saying yes to everything. So like schedule your stuff out. Like, yes, I can do 2 a week or, 1 a week. Like, so
Right.
like if it's so many people that that's 1 a week, you know what I mean? You know what to do with that.
Yeah. So I am going to scale back on that. So I can spend more time with my family.
And you actually do wedding cakes too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing me. You're pretty
I
talented.
just showed, and then what was Keisha just saying about
Pretty talented.
downstairs? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
There
right.
was actually.
That's
I was
pretty,
saying,
that's a
what you should
really,
do downstairs is just,
Oh,
yeah, like
Yeah,
weddings
the chills.
and baby showers.
do baby showers and weddings.
Right.
And chills.
Cake lady.
The cake lady.
So as long as you make it work for you instead of it working you.
Yeah. And that's what's happening.
Right.
It's working me.
Right.
I'm run down.
Right. And that's exhausting. Are you taking photographs of your work too? Good girl.
Good, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I like post them on social media and I haven't been. I kind of like stop posting them
Yeah.
because the minute I post it, people are like contacting me and it's great, but then again, it's not great because
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to take anything else on right now.
Yeah.
I need a break.
Do you
Yeah.
would you wanna, I mean, I'm sorry to ask and interrupt, but what about doing that rather than the insurance thing? Or is it because of medical and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find it like, that's just more fun for me. Like,
Yeah.
Just like more artistic and art,
Exactly.
just something for me to do.
Yeah,
Not like, I
not
don't
work.
want it as a job.
Yeah, not work, I got
I'm smiling.
you.
Right. Because you deny yourself.
Yeah, I do a
Yeah.
lot.
Mm-hmm. And you live in Danbury?
Mhm.
Brookfield?
In New Britain.
I'm sorry?
In New Britain.
In New Britain.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, hard hit New Britain.
Okay.
Traffic was fun, I'm like, I'm gonna make it to Genie, I'm gonna make it to Genie.
Aw. Oh, wow, you come from afar.
Mhm.
Yeah. How far in New
Yeah.
Britain? What is
It's
that?
like 40 minutes.
Yeah. She just go through Watertown, right?
Waterbury.
Oh, you went to Highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you got to come this way, you saw the traffic.
Yeah,
I was like, please move, God, please move, and it did, it was
See
moving.
that?
And I was praying, and when I do, I don't even have music on, and I usually will pray and just, because I could try and get into myself. And I love music, but
Hmm.
I know if I
And
don't
you should go on
quiet myself.
KBJB radio because we do all original artists.
I have the app, I've turned it on, actually, with,
It's got good
aside from
songs.
7 PM on
Tuesdays.
Yes, I put
The
on that.
KBJB radio
Tuesdays,
station with
KBJB
and
radio. You can catch me
Casey and
live.
KJ.
Live. And I do call-ins
Yes,
if you
I
want to have
know.
a reading, an actual reading.
I
Yeah.
know, I wanted to call in, the last 2 times. This past time, I really think was
I love-
definitely forwarded
Yeah.
to the situation I'm in, so I put it on my big speaker so that the person that lives with me can hear it, right? But I didn't force it, I just had it blasting, you know?
Yeah, just so within earshot.
There you go, and then,
Is that loud enough for you to hear?
right, but he did sit down, and there were times that he actually got emotional, so I knew it affected him. And then the week prior with the Ricky Bobby thing, that was totally for my mom, or geared toward, more with what she's going through, but yeah, it was pretty neat. So both times I'm like, I wanna call in, but I don't know, these last 2 times, it feels like we weren't supposed to,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, you'll know when to call in.
Yeah,
Sometimes you'll know when to call in. See, we have some great stuff. I mean, sometimes we're bombarded with phone calls and other
Yep.
times it's just, everybody's listening.
Oh, but
Yeah.
come on,
It's just a
come on.
good-
I mean, seriously, Pat called in. It couldn't have even been a better show because
Oh, yeah, that's
of the
great.
topic
That's
and
fantastic.
and
Yes.
Pat from the Women's Center called in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was
That is good.
ridiculous. Like,
You wanted her on the show, all of this.
well, I had wanted her on the show, and we'll catch up every here and there. But we were talking about how to get over pain when something happens to you. And she's been the director there at the Women's Center for 25 years. So I mean, you're talking sexual assault, you're talking domestic violence, you're talking
Horrible.
families, children, even men being affected and their lives being ripped apart. So I said, I was giving my 2 cents of what the angels were showing me. And I said, well, Pat, you've been doing this for so long. You have a lot of women there that work in the office and a lot of drama. Like, how do you guys handle that? So she gave the most beautiful, beautiful explanation. And she said, things that will happen to you, they don't define you. But I'm not even doing it justice how she said it. But it was so perfect, and it went along with the theme, and you couldn't have made that up. I was like, thank you, angels. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was definitely a good show.
It was.
You're having fantastic shows and great listenership and downloads.
Listenership.
Listenerships.
Great participation.
Everybody's in there with us.
That's
Angels
right.
Don't Lie.
That's right.
That's fantastical.
We love
I
it.
also loved that she explained the very first encounter she had with you.
Mhm.
Because I remember my very, very first encounter, and I was like, she is real. The first encounter, like, honestly.
And I forgot,
That's it.
and I actually forgot about what she had said.
Exactly. You had forgotten the first time.
I did.
And it's going to be until, and that affected me because I remember the first time as well. And it was like, bam.
There are
that's it.
some readings that I will like remember, and the angels will have me remember. And there are some it's not meant for me when I read somebody.
Well, usually, I guess when you spit it out, it's like you have more room.
Right. And it was funny because when she reminded me, I totally remember we had a meeting that night, and I had to go early. I actually went to the meeting an hour early, and I didn't know why I had to go there an hour early, but I was like, okay. So I'm showing up, and I go in, and she's the only one upstairs. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like bombarded, and I was like, Pat, I need to talk to you.
I need to get this out.
I totally felt like,
Yeah.
like I'm not one to walk up to somebody and be like, oh, your grandmother's here. And it's not my bag,
Although I'm trying to make her do that. Sometimes.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she
I'm
is.
like for ice cream.
Just tell her, just tell her.
I love it here.
I have this like little shy component.
Camera. I'll get the camera.
Hurry up!
Hurry up. What are you feeling? Get the camera.
That's
Right.
beautiful how you did that, and it still affected her, and she still remembers it, and that to me was
And how
just
she
like,
shared it.
Oh my gosh, I was in tears.
So was I. Like
So
I
was
got off. I got off, and I was telling my husband, I was like, I can't believe it. Yeah.
I know, it was
Yeah.
And that first time, and then
Because you
So-
don't realize, I mean, I always know this is healing work. Like the messages aren't meant for anything else. They're meant to propel you, to help you, it's like a Band-Aid for your wound, right? It's like when you're feeling that bad, it's like one message, one little piece of hope will change you. It'll shift you if you allow it. Some people will walk away and they'll be like, eh. Other people are like, oh, like Pat, her whole life, she changed. She was able to heal the grief.
yes,
Grief doesn't go away, but it got less. She could breathe. She
Oh,
could
absolutely.
function, right?
you've helped me so. Like I so appreciate. I mean, you see my butt. I mean, I feel like that's why I don't need to call in because I've heard the things essentially that I need to hear.
Right,
That is-
sometimes someone else's message can
Oh,
my gosh,
yes.
for
yes.
you as well.
Well,
Yeah.
when you first started, it was about the father, your friend's father, and being proud and getting and having that acceptance, and you were he's gonna be who he is, and that's how you accept him, and that affected me because I was always searching for acceptance from my father,
Right.
and I didn't get it until he passed, and I met Jeannie Street. I call so it helped me though. I mean, tremendously. So I appreciate that.
And sometimes when we look outside of ourselves too much, and this is point on for not calling in, which I like that you're not doing, because sometimes when we look too much outside of ourselves for answers or guidance, or that becomes an addiction, it becomes less valuable to us,
Right.
and we don't end up doing the work.
Or listening.
We get lazy. And so, I mean, this is just the truth, right? We'll be like, oh, I need guidance, or I need this. But really, we have it. We have this beautiful intuition center. It's meant to help us and guide us. Yes. Are there times that we need help? Absolutely. We all get blocked. We all get stuck. But if we're doing our you work, then it's not going to be so much. It's not going to be, all the time. It won't be that feeling. So I love that you're kind of holding back. I love that you're doing your work and you're just expressing yourself. And I love that you're creating your jewelry again. Like, so important, because you're shining it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we can get blocked in by pain, and pain will block us in all 4 ways. We can't move. We're like, I can't move. It sucks. Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of everybody. So.
All right, loves. I think, thank you, Susan. She said your mom's watching.
I know she is, yeah.
Susan.
Jen says hi.
I tried to FaceTime you.
I
Just
don't know where
saying.
the cameras are, but they're on me.
They were on you.
All right. So
We'll see.
I don't know why it's making the spinny thing. It's like,
Thank you.
yeah, I guess maybe it closed us off.
Boy, what a big delay on that, by the way.
There is a big delay on it.
It's a good, almost 10 minutes, like a 7-minute delay.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I'm like, I'm watching that while she's talking, and it's like, when is that light gonna go on?
And
Nearly
nearly
about
about
10
10
minutes in.
hematite is really drawing me, because that breathing exercise, that hematite is what is gonna ground, like, it's so grounding, that hematite.
For what?
For grounding your root chakra and grounding yourself too.
All right. So
Yeah.
KJ's apparently done. She's done. She's
I know.
she's
like,
packing up. She's done. So
Well, we've got some free footage.
tonight's
That's
over.
exactly
I
what
know, but you want me to wind it down, sister?
I think you got your point across.
Got my pint across. I did, but I want to. But I want to do my line. You're just closing
You
out.
know what I know?
You're closing it out. You're shut it down.
I can bring it back up again.
So
I know what I know. This is not Angels Don't Lie right here.
No, I know,
This
but
is-
I was going to say something else, but
this
that's
is King
okay.
Street fresh. This is the
Oh,
fresh
yeah.
King
How you
Streets.
This is the fresh girl.
This is how it's going around here. She's closing out. Show is over. So thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to tell you the books in the background, The God Is You. You can go on to my website, you can purchase it, and you can access all of the free gifts that are on the website. Vanna White is going to show you.
The Schmigo magnet, I'm so jealous.
Oh,
My mom
yeah,
has the
Schmigo.
magnet.
Me
Yeah,
too.
she
I'm so
did.
jealous.
Yes, she did, because
I have the Schmigo.
yeah, because you get it if you join Goddess University,
I
right?
know, and
Yeah.
I didn't do it when it was
You
twelve
need to-
$12.99, and
Yeah.
that's what I.
And now it's $19.99. Yeah, now you're kicking yourself, aren't you?
I
Yeah.
really am.
Yeah, sorry.
I know. But you know, my mom has
I
it.
said it though. I said this was what's
I
gonna
know you did. You
happen.
kept saying it, and
Nobody
I
listened,
didn't jump on it.
right?
But I thought that since my mom's in Florida and she really wanted to come and be able to enjoy it and everything, and I'm like, you'll still be here.
She's here.
But exactly. So then she can do the Goddess University, you know what I mean? And that's something separate that she can have. So we can kind of bring them together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm happy that she's blessed to be able to be in the Goddess University.
That's
You
weird.
know?
I just picked that up. That's weird. Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't tell her to say that.
It all.
I know it is like she's like, okay, audience, say blessed.
Blessed. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
So what I wanted to say is that if she lets me talk, what I am looking for, if you're an empath or highly sensitive person and energy messes with you, I'd like a little video of how energy messes with you. Just a blurb, like, when I go to the mall, I have to, whatever, I feel like drained, I feel exhausted. I just want a little video clip if you don't mind sending them to me. I'm doing a project on energy. So I'm really excited about it. but the more videos we have, the more clips we have, the bigger the audience, bigger we'll talk to other people.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's such an issue for so many people, is how to be in our own bodies, how to manage that chaotic feeling when we go to the mall, or we're at that big party, or when somebody's really depressed and we end up being really depressed. We work off of each other. We're all on that energy. So, and it can be so confusing and conflicting. So I want to be able to make a great class, and I think this is going to be amazing. So I'm really excited about it.
So can we send it through Messenger then?
Yeah, so you can email it to me at jeannie@jeanniestreet.com. Better to email me. I hate Facebook.
I know, yeah, you don't
thingies.
really get to Messenger.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'll
work
be
for me.
like, I just left the house, yay! I just went to the gym. Oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
It's an older machine, I don't know, but it's an ab coaster, and I will tell you, I feel my
Oh,
six
for the
pack.
abs? Oh, you put
Have
some on
you?
you?
So you
Well,
don't
listen,
get
guys, I'm
older.
going to sign off because
No,
we're
it-
just talking, but really we're done. And I appreciate all of you
Yes,
hanging
thank
on,
you.
and
Thank you so
love
much.
you. Bye.
Bye.